Hey guys, what's going on? John here from What's Spitting here tonight to chat about this new Pig Destroyer EP, the Octagonal Stairway. Pig Destroyer are a Virginia-based grindcore extreme metal outfit who have been at it since the late 90s now, and even though their sound is pretty hard to get into, pretty rugged, not very accessible, I've always had a soft spot for them. I always have loved their Prowler in the Yard album, one of my favorite grindcore albums ever. It was gruesome and rugged and gritty and gory, but oddly poetic as well. But then, to me, I just kind of lost interest in the band for a while. I also wasn't listening to much grindcore. Also, their Terrifier album, which everybody seemed to be up in arms about how great it was, I was kind of lukewarm on. But to me, around 2007 and their Phantom Limb album, I honestly think Pig Destroyer started putting out some of their best stuff. This was a much more bulky, sludgy project. It also had just some really great writing and awesome ideas. And from a performance standpoint, Pig Destroyer sounded great. And I also really love their follow-up, the Book Burner project, which was just so unapologetic, like some disgusting snuff film that you kind of just happened to stumble upon. Even their 2018 album, Headcage, while far from their original sound, much bulkier, I thought from a writing standpoint they were writing some really great stuff still, even though this was far from a grindcore classic. And I was interested to hear this little EP because the single they dropped from it was just as pummeling and explosive and angry as ever. Let's chat about this thing. CP starts off with its title track, the Octagonal Stairway, and it's a Pig Destroyer EP. You kind of know what you're getting into. It sounds like the transition of the band after their last album. It's just as grisly and abrasive as I hoped, honestly. It holds no punches. I love the breakdowns here. They are fantastic, and the production is just as bulky as ever. I mean, from listening to this, they sound like they have no signs of slowing down or conforming to anything. They sound just as gritty as ever. Not only that, but they still just sound so tortured deep down. I love this. And if you think that's a grindcore anthem, trust me, the Cavalry, which follows that track up, is twice as that. It's even more pulverizing. It's even more fierce. I mean, I don't know about you, but this is always what I've tuned into Pig Destroyer to hear, and they're doing a great job of it right here. It's an all-out riff fest. It is an onslaught. Now, I will say this is far from the artistic direction that they were going for in the late 90s, early 2000s. For an explosive, all-out slugfest of a grindcore tune, this is top-notch. And then we have Cameraman, which isn't even grindcore anymore. This is just this deformed creature of anger and ferocity, and it is pretty awesome. It's the explosive energy that I've always loved from these guys, and I feel like I never know what I'm going to hear. I love that. And by the time this track gets to its closing moments, it's just this glob of a mess of power, violence, and anger, and I love that. But the rest of this EP is really very strange and questionable, and it contains a lot of experiments that I'm glad they kept off their albums, honestly. News Channel 6 sets off some red flags for me. Honestly, Pig Destroyer has always been a band that I listen to and look to because there's no fluff on their albums. But why am I sitting and listening to a 25-minute EP and we have this dubstep practically interlude with some news anchor talking over it? Like, why? Headcage isn't much better, honestly. As a matter of fact, it sets off even more red flags for me. I mean, I've always been a proponent and somebody who enjoys their bulkier production, but this track here can be a solid argument against it. Good lord, this sounds awful and is nothing but a couple of minutes of studio trickery and experiments. Why are we here right now? This is weird. This is something I've never really heard from Pig Destroyer. It worries me for their future. It honestly does. For the first time in a long time, I am genuinely worried. And Soundwalker, what even is this? All of a sudden, Pig Destroyer, like 20 plus years into their career, are taking right now to become much more experimental and branching out. I don't know why. More than anything, why is it so boring? It's patience testing, it's confusing, and way too experimental. These are words I've never used on a Pig Destroyer album or an EP ever. I'm shocked, and even more so that this track goes on for almost 12 minutes. So you know what? This EP had a very promising start with a couple of B-sides and transitional tracks from album to album that I thought Pig Destroyer were doing what they do best, and had me looking forward to what they're coming with down the pike. But honestly, I hear the second half of this EP, and I'm about ready to run for the hills from it. I might not even cover it or listen to it. I don't know why they're choosing right now to branch out and take risks, and they all just sound so boring and really confusing. This EP is very middle of the road. I'm feeling like a light to decent 6 on this thing, but let me know what you guys think down below. If you liked the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, guys.